Thank you.
So we're going to start with Ulla Sjöholm från Musikmakarna. Sjöström, sorry, of course, I should know Sjöström, of course. Welcome. And from SAE Institute, Joy Deb. And from Advanced Music Production, Fryshuset, Aron Piri. Welcome. I have some water if you want to have something for you. There you go. And there you go. So what I would like to... we're going to start with the introduction, but the reason why I wanted to do this panel is, again, referred to myself. When I was in the up and coming, there was not so great possibilities for educations, but now we have great opportunities, and you represent what I think 3 of the best education programs we have. So if we start with you, Ulla, if you just can make a short introduction of you, yourself, and the education, the school and the program you have, and maybe some success stories you have of students that go into your school.
Well, I think I'm the oldest in many ways here now, because this education I'm representing, Musikmakarna, I founded it 19 years ago, at a time when this was not an occupation. Who is a songwriter? It was quite fussy to get it in order, I would say. But it has been going on now, as I said, for 19 years, and we call it also the Songwriters Academy of Sweden. In the same building we also have, which we'll hear more about, Anders Bagge has also an education, Rimmel Music Academy. So we have a house with, when everyone is there, 80 songwriters at one time in the same building in Örnsköldsvik in northern Sweden. And it works great. And nowadays we have former students all over the world, I would say, and some successes, I could say, Martin Garrix, writing for Russell Crowe, film music with Russell Crowe, the Chainsmokers, winner songs in Eurovision Song Contest. Swedish side would be Sara Larsson, Lush Life is written among others of 2 of our students. And Miriam Bryant, winning last weekend or something for Black Car, one of our students. And upcoming Södra Station, well, something of it.
Good. So that's a great story. We know that your school is based up in Örnsköldsvik, which is in the northern part of Sweden. Is that a challenge for you that your school is based outside Stockholm and this area? Is that an advantage for you, or do you see it more as a challenge?
Well, this is a higher vocational education, so it has some special conditions, and it actually 2 years long. So 1 year up there and 1 year more or less in the business here. So I think we have the best of 2 worlds. Because the thing is that when we are located up in the north, in a small, nice town in the high coast area of Sweden, it's a very good place to focus on. You come there, you know that I'm going to be here 1 year, I'm going to develop myself, this is what I'm doing. And I don't need all these things around, like distractions it would have been if it would be in Stockholm. So they really work and they develop a lot. They work 24/7 all the time, all the year. And they get really good. And the next year, they are most of the time in the business, on training and things like that. And we catch them up in Örnsköldsvik. So I think it's a very good setting.
So it's a 2-year program, and they spend 1 year in Örnsköldsvik and then 1 year in the industry.
Second year they're up in Örnsköldsvik sometime, part, but mostly out, really, in the business.
But since you say they're out in the business, does that mean that you need to have good business relationship as a student to be able to go?
Absolutely.
Okay. So can that be a challenge for the students, that they maybe scare off that if you say that you need to have good business music industry relationships to be able to go to your school, or do you help them to get the connections?
No, many of them don't have when they come. Some have. Some are signed already when they come to us and want to get broader and so on, wider their skills. But most of them don't have. So we open the doors for them. They get all the contacts from the business in the school.
Okay.
Because we work with everyone.
Okay. So Joy, what about SAE? I think we have a microphone problem.
That one.
Change it. Oops.
Okay, hello. I'm from SAE, representing our school, and it's we have a lot of different programs like audio engineering. That's our history. We started there, but nowadays we have songwriting and music production and also music business, which is a big part of today, like being a songwriter or producer, and it's very like up to date with the current business. And me myself, I'm a professional songwriter and producer, and I'm been a student at SAE and also at your school, Musikmakarna. Yeah, that's what we like. We have as like our audio engineering courses are like the first ones. SAE is an international school, so they have like history there, and then we have an education called electronic music production, which is more focused on the electronic music. It's a shorter, it's like 6 months, and then we have songwriting and music production. That's more broader for songwriters and producers. We're located in Stockholm, so it's and all of the stuff we're like, most of us are in the business, like myself, working with music, and so that's our resources. We have a lot of good resources in our education.
SAE, I've seen it kind of all over the world when I'm traveling. Is that an international organization?
Yeah, it started out in Australia in the 70s, so then they expanded to like US and whole Europe. But we're a little bit unique in Sweden because we have this music thing going on here. So even the whole world is looking at Sweden at the moment, and even in their education, like they're looking at us and stuff.
So you don't follow an international SAE program in your education. You can special make it for your situation here in Stockholm, or how does it work?
We do follow in international, but every area has their own specific. Like in Sweden, it's not that much maybe about filmmaking, like in India or Germany or something. So we're very like specific in music and audio engineering.
Okay, so if you compare to Musikmakarna, is it also 2-year programs or 1 year, or what's the difference?
Yeah, difference is we have 1-year programs and 6-month and like shorter programs. And some of them are part-time, some of them are full-time. So it's a little different approach, and I think we complement each other really good. Like, we share some credits together on some songs, like the Sarah Larsson songs and stuff like that. So yeah.
Do you, to be able to go to your school, do you need to have a lot of knowledge about songwriting, music production before, or can you come as a total new up and coming?
You can come as a new, because we start from the beginning, so you don't have to have. We try to like prepare people for the business and the real life, because there's a real life outside school. But you don't have to have any, like, you can come as a beginner, but you should be really. It's always with education, it's always up to the student. We provide the resources, our knowledge, and studios and everything. But it's still, if you're like, your mindset is that most important to like become a songwriter or a producer or something. That's number one.
I know that at Musikmakarna, if you get chosen to come there, you need to do some tests before you get in. Is that the same thing at SAE?
We do some interviews for the bigger courses, but not for the songwriting and electronic music production.
Okay.
So you just apply, and then we try to fill
Okay.
the courses. Yeah.
Sarah, what about advanced music production? What is, please just tell us about your education program.
We are a startup, so these guys have been there forever. But we are started. We started in August, and what's interesting is we wanted to be a little different, or try to build on the legacy that some of these great educations have done. So we are a songwriting and music production school, but we also are a leadership and personal development school. So we combine songwriting, music production, leadership, and personal development. So in the studios, you're working from Monday to Thursday, and then on Thursday, you have leadership and personal development. On Friday, you have yoga and mindfulness.
Nice. That's different from the others, though.
It's
I know.
very good.
Yeah.
It is, because part of our ideal or our vision is to combine hard skills with soft skills.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's great to be a craftsman or craftswoman and know all that, but we are service providers and it is a people industry. And in a co-writing session, there's other people too.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. How long is your program?
It's 1 year, and again, we're building off the legacy of Dream Hill in Örnsköldsvik. So it's supposed to be a second year to that. So there's a sort of partnership there.
If there, I mean, maybe you or Ulla can answer that question. Ulla, you mentioned also Dream Hill. Should we just try to explain the connection between? There are two music educations in Örnsköldsvik. There's Musikmakarna and it's Dream Hill. And Dream Hill is also connected to advanced music publishing. Is there an easy way to explain how the connections are? Is it just Anders Bagge or
one man?
One
in
man.
the world.
Oh, we can maybe ask the staff if we can get it working.
Well, as I said, Musikmakarna was already there, of course, in Örnsköldsvik, and Anders Bagge wanted to come up with some education that would be shorter one, like 1 year, and it's built more on talent, because you don't need grades from the Swedish college or something. It's only built on talent for everyone. That was his idea. So that's why we started that as a basic education. It's 4 years ago now, in the same house, same building in Örnsköldsvik. And then it came up that the student would like to develop further on after that year. They would like to go even be even better. And then this idea came up to start something in Stockholm at Fryshuset it is. So now students from Örnsköldsvik can apply to go further on to the second year at Fryshuset.
So Aaron, to get into your program, you need to be at least 1 year at another education, or can you apply as an up-and-coming to your education as well?
It's folkhögskola, so it's technically, or you don't have to have gone to Örnsköldsvik, but for applications, you send in your work, and we sort of gauge what level you're at.
Okay. Is there any tests to get into your program?
Besides possible screening and interview and sending in your work, no, you don't have to do your training or... No.
Okay. But you select, from the applications, you select the ones you think is going to be best for your program.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have 25 spots, so...
Yeah, okay.
And I could just add that it's called advanced because it would be like a second year for the class in Örnsköldsvik if they would like to go. But also, as you say, it's free for everyone to apply for it if you have a certain level of knowledge already.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be if you're sort of beginning, or you could be intermediate but show like, great potential. But definitely it's not supposed to be beginning.
Okay. So, asking you, Joy, since your work as a professional producer and songwriter yourself, I mean, we use the Swedish music wonder as an expression, and Sweden is extremely successful when it comes to music production and songwriting. What role do you think that you as an education program have to this? Had you added more value to it, or what do you think you're adding to the Swedish Music Wonder as an education program?
Definitely more value, because I think we've been there, we've seen this. Nowadays, almost everybody in Sweden you can have a computer and you can do music, and then maybe you start to look at educations because you also meet people like-minded. And yeah, like I said, everybody's watching in Sweden at the moment, so we tried like when I grew up there wasn't music schools like this, but I still got into music school, but we're very current in our like approach to survive in the more modern music business. So I think that's what all of us are doing. So yeah, and I'm seeing like so many good people, students. I'm meeting them every day. They inspire me, and I get to know all the trends before everybody else. So that's what I like about, because yeah, they come from another place. Yeah, so they have another mindset, and we try to just give them our experience and yeah, inspire them and show them the way.
So Aaron, what do you think that we are every year through your education programs and others letting people out in the music industry that we know is a challenge to survive out there? Can you see any negative sides of educating too many people out in the professional music industry, or do you think there's going to be room for all these people all the time?
I think there's room, but there is a pitfall to education and learning. And that's, as Joy was saying, a lot is dependent on the student. And what can tend to happen is you get safe in education. So you tend to stay in an education loop. And it's important to really get out.
I call it the CSN bubble.
CSN bubble, we'll
yeah.
take that. So, but that's again not because of the education, that's because of the individual, which is again why we work very, very hardcore with the soft skills.
And Sweden is just one of the countries with educations. If we, first of all, to ask in your programs, do you also get applications from songwriters and producers abroad that want to come? Ulla?
Yes, we have only been educating in Swedish so far, but every year now, last years, we get more and more applications from students abroad. So I've decided to do something about it. So actually we are opening up for a small class of international students beside integrated with the other ones. So from 1st of March, we are getting some guys from Los Angeles, for instance, coming over for 3 months as a test. We'll try to see how we can develop that thing. We have to do something because we get so many applications, and it wasn't our idea from the beginning.
Can that be a challenge? What form of education you are? You said you're folkhögskola. Can anyone, even if you don't have if you're a Swedish citizen, can you apply to come to your education anyhow?
I'll take that to next week's meeting.
Yeah, okay.
Get back to you on that one.
Because that could be interesting. Because I mean,
absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely, and I mean, part of my aesthetic as a teacher is to be open to possibility and definitely to be innovative. So, yeah, why not?
And for you, Joy, at SAE, since that education is spread out all over the whole world, do you get any applications for people outside Sweden to come to study here in Stockholm?
Yeah, we do, and we have people, but our educations are still in Swedish, so people has to know some Swedish or understand it. But we do get a lot from our like neighbor countries and stuff. So Norway, Iceland, Finland, yeah, they come to us.
So then we come to the music rights issue that I'm burning for, and I think is so important. To start with Musikmakarna. Except from songwriting and music production, how is your education formed when it comes to education regarding music rights? How much time do you spend on that in your in the programs?
Oh, Niclas, how many points? He knows.
You know, they don't even know how many points it is.
No, I don't remember exactly. But we have a big parties, of course. Sorry.
25 points.
It's 5 weeks, full weeks, but we spread it out, of course, during the years. So it's a very important thing.
Okay, but do you feel from the students that when you get to that point that it's time to start talking about music rights, that they don't like to talk about it? Is that something they just want to go through to be able to write songs again?
Yeah, I think it was like that before, but nowadays it seems like the wonderful young students we have are more and more aware of the problems and how do I get my money and how do I how do I save up my rights and things like this. And I think they are more aware of it now, and we even introduce Auddly to them, you know.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
So Aaron, in your program, how much time do you spend on music rights, and in what way are you educating them?
Every Tuesday they have branschkunskap, so they do music business. And so far in how many weeks have we existed? Months. In Sweden, everybody talks weeks. 4 months. There you go. So in that time, they've met the different performance rights organizations and so on. We're also trying to work with you and Auddly and get that implemented. So it's a big deal for us because, again, those of us who are practitioners know that, you know, you've got to combine the creative with the administrative. Have to. Then the problem with that is creatives tend to not have those faculties together. But that's why, again, soft skills are important. It's about, you know, communication skills, negotiation skills, all that kind of stuff that's important for them to advance.
What's the music rights situation at SAE?
Yeah, it's basically the same. We have the music business course, which is a whole year only music business, but in all the other courses we have some like blocks of music rights and everything that has to do with the business and everything. So and that's important. I think the students are really interested in that nowadays because it's important because nowadays you can do everything yourself and you can even put out your music and start your own record labels. You have to know some of that stuff. Yeah.
Interesting, and that takes me to the next question, which is the never ever ending change of the music industry. It's changing all the time. So what Musikmakarna, for example, what are you doing to keep up to all the changes? What are you doing to keep your program up to date and support things like self-publishing, self-released, and all that? How do you keep up to in the modern music industry?
To all the new trends and the changes, well, I would say 3 things. First of all, we listen to the students because they have a lot of creative ideas and new inputs that we not even might have heard of yet, but they know. Second thing, we have a very strong board consisting of major labels and companies, representatives, and they are updated, you know, with everything, so we get a lot of good input there. And the third thing is I never employ any of my staff. None is employed, and none has full time at the school. And that ensures me that they all have to work their ass off to fill their pocket every month in the business, so they are always updated because they have one foot in their own business, music business, and one at the school. So they always provide us with good things from their experiences as well.
And this is an important question. I saw a report from, I don't know who did a report, but how much money in the music industry will generate in the future. I mean, we have been a big challenge for the music industry to find this new form, but now we start seeing big increase of income in the music industry. So these kind of questions are really important. At SAE, since you're an international school, what kind of things are you doing to keep up to the modern industry and all the new trends?
Yeah, that's the same. I mean, in our Stockholm, everybody that works there is active in the business in some way. And like record labels, mixing, and like me, I'm doing it because I love doing it. I don't have to, but I do it, and I love meeting all the students because that inspires me. So yeah, and so that's the way to keep up. You have to be, and again, I always come back to Sweden. Like I think it's the whole music culture here, like technology and everything. There's a lot of stuff happening here, so we have to be. I think we're in kind of front, in some way. Yeah.
So for advanced music production, you're a kind of a new education and a new program. Do you think that is an advantage for you because you have a fresh new start and you can see what other has done, or do you see it more as a challenge to keep up to do what we just discussed?
A bit of both, actually, but I think that's a very important point. We are very particular about who's the team, so they have to have what I call one foot on the, or played the bandstand last night and came on time to the classroom to tell them how it was. So everybody who's involved is living and breathing music, either from a management point of view, actual being an artist, or a musician behind other artists. So we're definitely keyed in. But a specific part of leadership is to always be aware of trends and to be on top of that in a very analytical way. So developing the students to also say, look, what's going on in the industry? Also from you know, the business side, and not just sort of like, okay, this month, do you know if we say oh 4 times, that's going to give us a hit. So that's a big part of it. So it's and we do something called 360 feedback, which means everybody's constantly helping each other and feedbacking each other. So if I learn something, they learn something, and hopefully if they learn something, I should learn something.
Interesting. So the last question, and I start with you, Ulla. What's your thoughts about the future? How will Musikmakarna develop? Will you grow? Will you do the international integrations, or how do you see Musikmakarna in the future music industry?
Well, we hope that we will still be there for many years, and I'm sure that we will absolutely still be placed in Örnsköldsvik in the northern Sweden, because it has been part of our success concept to get the people there and only focus on this. And also I think that we'll work more with the international students on a special program combined with that. This is what I see.
Joy, what's your...
Just like keep going on, try to do what you love and be the best, and yeah, be passionate about education, and also like get the students inspired, because then they're gonna continue, and yeah.
Sarah, where's your education program gonna be in 5 years?
In 5 years, I mean, our education again is at Fryshuset. So Fryshuset's overall vision is that, you know, we make it possible for young people to pursue their passions. So our education is only going to be successful if the people are successful. So we're still focusing primarily on people, and hopefully those people will write great songs and heal the world.
So thank you so much for joining me in this panel, and to all you guys here, if you want to know more, talk to them. They're here, and I really recommend you to talk to them if you're interested, because you get more into the differences with the different educations and find the one that is perfect for you. So by that, I'm saying thank you. We're gonna have a few minutes break, and then the next panel is gonna start, but we take like 5 minutes. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.